Hi everyone! Thank you for joining me for today's live. I'm so excited to talk about this subject, as I know this was something that was really, on my mind all the time. I kept asking myself, why do I keep obsessing over these thoughts? Why can't I let them go? So today's topic, I want to talk about these thoughts, the obsessive thoughts. Why can't you let them go? Is it OCD? What's really happening? So we'll go more over into the why, the how do we stop obsessing over it, and what is the secret formula that you need to really be able to move on, to act like we say, as health anxiety fighters, normal, right? Like normal people would, like you just feel a sensation and you're just able to move on with your day without obsessing over it, without checking, without, constantly, yeah, this is my problem. Yeah, I mean, this is, I don't think I've ever talked to anyone who deals with health anxiety where they, obsessing over their thoughts and obsessing over their, symptoms or, anything that might trigger their health anxiety, that they heard something on TV, that this is not a problem. So let's start talking about the why. Why is this happening? Why do you keep obsessing over your thoughts? So I want to put this as simply as I can, because I know that in an overwhelmed mind, we don't want to overwhelm it with a lot more information either. So simply put is because what's happening is because your body is still sending something is wrong signals to the mind. That's it. So the body is still sending something is wrong signals to the mind. And I want to give you an example. So when I struggled with health anxiety, I remember this time when I used to get these pains in my ovaries. And I remember I'd first feel the pain, right? It didn't come in my thoughts first. I just feel the pain first in my ovaries. And then I'd feel this rush of fear just like kind of taking over my body. I'd feel so hot and my chest would start pounding. Like I get these, my heart would race. I get this heart palpitations and I just couldn't think. Like I felt like I froze, right? It was as if something bigger would just take over me. Like I couldn't, it wasn't myself anymore. Then I'd start spiraling. That's when the thoughts would come in. And I think, what if it's not just PMS pain? What if it's actually something more? What if it's ovarian cancer? So I would go down this rabbit hole of obsessing over the symptoms for hours, for days, sometimes even weeks at a time, like just going back and forth. And whenever I felt the symptom, I would just go back to the thoughts, but what if it's something more? What if? So my brain would keep obsessing over it. And I felt like I couldn't let it go. Like no matter how much reassurance I get, how much I'd Google search, how much, other people would tell me that like, oh, I got that too. And like, it just went away and it's actually, just PMSing symptoms. And I just kept obsessing over it. So in that moment also, what I used to do is I would try to reframe my thoughts by convincing myself that I was okay or that everything will be okay. So I would tell myself, you're okay. I bring evidence like, oh, you're just, it's your week now. You should PMS. That's what usually happens. You went to the doctor said everything is fine. But guess what? My mind would always come back with, how do you know? How do you know for sure? How do you know that we are actually okay? You don't know. You don't know. So my brain would like take over and I would kind of like just find myself agreeing with my mind. And I would be like, yeah, I don't know that I'm going to be okay. And I'd get down another rabbit hole of kind of thinking that like, no, this is for real. Like, what if I actually have ovarian cancer? So the obsession loop of the thoughts and all of that would continue. I would continue spiraling, like I said, for days, for hours, for days, for weeks at a time. Every time I'd feel that pain, my thoughts that I had, even though it was like 2-3 weeks ago, I would just get it now again. And the thoughts would get louder and stronger, right? No matter what I did, no matter how much I tried to reframe, they would get louder. So why do we do that? So like I said at the beginning, because the body still thinks that there is a threat. And as long as the body thinks that there is a threat, it's going to keep sending signals, something is wrong, to the mind. And until that threat is eliminated. Everything that we do if it's a smell, if it's something that we heard, anything that might trigger. Like for me, it was even hearing an ambulance, it would have triggered me. And it would put me really in this state of fight or flight. And I would start getting these tensions throughout my body that I would start spiraling about and obsessing over. So most of the times it never starts with a thought. It always starts with something that we feel in the body. So as long as the body still feels there is a threat, there is a danger, it's always going to keep pushing signals to the mind, and the mind will give us thoughts like, what if it's this? What if it's that? To protect us. Okay, and I want to emphasize that because it's really to protect us, nothing more. Okay, even though we feel that it is harming us. And it is harming us when we got to a point where we're obsessing over them, because we keep continuing the loop and we're not out of the loop. We have not found safety. We have not found relief. And it hurts us because we keep enforcing patterns that should not be there, like fearful patterns. Right? Because our nervous system is only supposed to be in the state of fight or flight for not for very short periods of time, not for prolonged periods of time. Like for me, I was in the state of fight or flight for like 7 years, which is not supposed to, right? The body it's a mechanism that everyone has, that everyone, even though you don't struggle with health anxiety, when there's a threat, the body just goes into, okay, there's something, it sends something is off alarm to the mind, and the mind will keep pushing thoughts that something is wrong. So once the threat is eliminated from the body, then and only then the mind can think clearly. We can start having control over our thoughts, and we can get to choose the thoughts that we want to think and feel about a sensation. And that's why someone who doesn't struggle with health anxiety is able to move on with their day, even when they feel something, a sensation throughout their body. That's why they are what we call, again, in health anxiety terms, normal people, right? I want to be normal. I always used to say that. But what I actually meant is that I want to have a sensation, feel it, and just be able to move on with my day, not make anything out of it, not obsess over it, right? So, and I know you want that too. And that's why this happens. Okay. And I just want to go back, and I really want you to get that idea that like, it's how our body is made, how we are humanly made. Okay. Because someone who doesn't struggle with health anxiety, the body didn't send a signal that there is a threat to the mind for the mind to push thoughts like, what if this is more than just a PMS sensation, like right? But if ever their body feels that this is a threat, it will push those kind of thoughts. Okay. What happens is that the difference is that health anxiety fighters are always in a state of fight or flight. They're always in this survival mode. And that's why it's so easily, their nervous system and their body is so easily triggered. Okay, and that's why it keeps pushing, again, signals to the mind that something is wrong, something is off. Do something about it. So what is the formula to stop obsessing? Like, how do we stop obsessing over this? So, like I said earlier, what most health anxiety fighters do, and including myself, what I used to do is I would try to change my thoughts by rationalizing, by trying to prove to myself that I'm okay, that, nothing is wrong. I would try to like bring back thoughts like, this is, the doctor told me this, or this is what we saw on Google, and it's impossible to have this because we don't have these symptoms. My brain would come back, yes, but what if? That 0.00001% chance, right? And you would just focus on like the tiniest little thing, even though like, 99.99999% it was for sure I didn't have that. So that's why that never actually worked. And the thoughts would always come back, and they would be stronger, louder, because the threat was still there. My body kept pushing signals that the threat is still there. So what we want to do first is we want to work with the body somatically. Okay. So from the body, we want to reassure the body that there is no threat, that we are okay, that everything is that we are safe now, and that threat is gone. And I teach more on how to do that during my live masterclass in July. We do a live demo there, and I show you exactly how to do this, how to somatically help your body to let go of that threat so that you are able to move on and that you are able to change your neural pathways, right? The way when it comes to how you react to fear. And this is exactly what I did, how I changed how my body reacted to fear, to triggers. Okay, and once there is no more threat, and once we train our body to do that, then we can train our mind also to think different thoughts and to stop obsessing. So that's what we do first. We change how we think by changing how we feel first. After we've done that, we go into reframing our thoughts. So when we reframe our thoughts, we want to make sure that we use reframes that help us to feel safe, that give us that sense of relief, that sense of, oh, I'm okay. Okay, it was just my mind acting out. That sense of groundness, right? That sense of calm that we're looking for. What happens is that most health anxiety fighters, again, including myself, like I used to have thoughts like, or reframe my thoughts like, oh, I've had this before and I didn't die. So, I guess I'm going to be okay. Oh, it's probably nothing. But what if it is? I just distract myself with, until this is going to go away. This is not, these reframes, what happens is that these kind of reframes kept me obsessing, kept me pushing the fear for later on at night, right? And that's why it would take me like 2-3 hours to fall asleep, or I would wake up during the night, keep thinking about it because I just pushed it over. I didn't reframe my thoughts in such a way that my mind felt safe and it felt like there's nothing wrong and I'm okay. And so my thoughts would always come back. What we want to do, the way we want to reframe it is in a way, like I said earlier, that helps us to feel safe, that helps us to feel grounded. So if you tell yourself right now, a reframe like, I'm only anxious because I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm only anxious because I don't know what's going to happen next. Probably that makes you feel relieved. That makes you feel calm, right? It's a reframe that actually helps the mind to remind the mind that you are in control. It helps the body to feel safe, but it also helps the mind to recreate that, those feelings of safety in your body and to calm down and to feel grounded. And again, we do that more during the live demo, during the masterclass. I teach you exactly, and we go through, I teach you exactly how to do that, how to reframe, how to use reframes that actually help you to feel safe. Because really in that moment, whenever you're triggered, all you want is to feel safe, to have the certainty that everything will be okay. That's it. You just want to feel safe. Okay? You just want to feel safe, and you are. But you have to show your body and you have to show your mind that you are. And again, we do that by first changing how the body feels. We change the thoughts by changing how the body feels first. And then we use these kind of reframes to retrain our brain to think differently whenever we are triggered. So if you've tried before, okay, to change your thoughts and it didn't work or it didn't stick, that's not because something's wrong with you. That's not because, you can't do it or your brain can't do it. Nothing at all, okay? It's either first because you didn't have the right formula, right? It's just like baking a cake. If you don't have the right ingredients, then the cake is not gonna be as good, right, as it could be. Same thing here. You didn't have the right formula. Or maybe you're trying to push thoughts or reframes that don't actually make you feel safe. Or the body still thinks that there is a threat. And again, if the body thinks that there is a threat, it's going to keep pushing what if and something is wrong signals to the mind, and you're going to keep telling yourself something is wrong, something is wrong, something is wrong. And that's because the body keeps pushing those signals to the mind. All right? So that's how we stop obsessing. And this is how we stop obsessing over our symptoms, how we stop obsessing over anything that might be health related, by working with the body to change the mind and to change those neural pathways, and to change our thinking patterns. And it's a training of the brain, and I did it. You can totally do it as well. So it's really empowering. For me, it was really empowering to know that I could stop obsessing, that I have that power. I just needed the right formula to do it. And so can you. All right, so thank you for being here with me. I will post this on my feed so you can watch it later on, the whole, all the live. So thank you for sharing your energy with me today. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope to see you in the live during the Masterclass in July. And for today, I wish you an amazing rest of the day. Remember that you are safe. You just need to prove that to yourself. You need to show your body and your mind that you are safe, but you are safe. And as we are closing this, it's 12/12. Wow. And if you believe in numerology, this is a great sign that you are actually safe. All right. Have an amazing rest of the day. We'll talk soon. Bye.